Okay.
That's right. And we got a good show for you. In the studio, we have Chris Lamey here today to talk to us about training dogs, man. It's going to be an interesting conversation for sure. Chris is a former military canine trainer. He has his own business here on the coast called Canine Coaching with Chris. It's going to be a very interesting story, so be sure to stay tuned here. But before we jump into it, we have to thank the people that keep the lights on for us over here at the Brown Water Studio. Dr. Robbie Williams, Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. Look them up on Facebook or Instagram. They are at Southern Magnolia Smiles. They are located right here on Washington Avenue in Ocean Springs. We still don't have a slogan for 2026. If you know one, drop it in the comments. Send us a DM. Let us know. Joey's he's all out of ideas, and so am I.
We'll send you a free hat.
When you're ready to book that consultation, though, and get them pearly white shining again, you can give them a call at 228-215-1202 and tell them Brown Water sent you. If you yourself or someone you know needs legal representation for any reason, Taylor & Cox Law Firm has been practicing law on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for over 30 years. They're right here in Jackson County, George County, and Greene County. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, family law, divorce, child custody, BUI. They represented people that got some tickets out in the Gulf of America. That was an interesting story. So anyway, give him a shout, book a consultation with him, talk to Tyler right here in the photo. Man, he's a great guy. He will fight tooth and nail for you. You can call him up at 228-696-0111. And again, tell him Brown Water sent you. We are in the month of January. This is the month to either make that New Year's resolution happen or make it not happen. It's up to you. Forever Young Men and Women's Health, though, they're on your side, and they want to help you make that New Year's resolution a reality. Their motto is bringing medicine, health, and exercise together to help men and women live their best lives. This is Kendrick right here. He's extremely knowledgeable in all things health and fitness. You book a consultation with Forever Young. They draw some blood work on you when you get there. They go over it with you. They see if you're vitamin deficient, hormone deficient. They specialize in testosterone replacement for both men and women. I like to say that. Go look up the episode we did with Kendrick, and you can figure out, yes, women need testosterone as well. I didn't know that for a very long time.
Just not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Yeah, you don't want to give them too much. You don't want your girlfriend or your wife beating you up.
I should beat you up.
But if you hit that special mixture just right, I hear it's wonderful. So anyway, give them a shout at 228-363-6623. And again, tell them that Brown Water sent you. And I'm going to flash it on the screen right here, man. The Brown Water Shop. We got some merch in there. We have our hats, the one Joey's wearing, the one I'm wearing, the one here in the photo. If you're watching this on the TV, scan it with your phone. That QR code right there, it'll take you straight over to the shop. If you're listening to this, we have it linked in the comments below. It's a great way to support the show. We got our leather patch hats right there. I can even show you this. We have some dry fit stuff. That's one of our Peter Anderson Pelican shirts right there. A lot of cool stuff, man. If it's something you're into, go check it out, and we'd really appreciate it. So let me click one more time here.
Rent's due every month.
It never stops.
Every month.
It never stops. Well, anyway, Chris, thank you so much for being here this evening, stopping by and chatting with us, man. We always like to start with the background. We were talking a little bit before we went live. You were born right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in Long Beach, did you say?
I was born in Gulfport, but lived in Long Beach.
Okay.
Grew up in Long Beach, graduated high school in Long Beach, class of 2003. Was here until actually about 6 days before Katrina.
Okay.
Me and my wife at the time, girlfriend at the time, were expecting and decided to move to Hattiesburg, kind of on a whim.
Holy crap.
August, I don't know, or July 31st.
Wow.
6 days before the storm.
Wow.
So I moved from Long Beach to Hattiesburg 6 days before Katrina hit.
I think Katrina was August 29th, wasn't it? It was
I
the
should know
29th.
that. All three of us should know that.
We should know that.
But yeah, it was a
sure
week before.
Yeah.
And we just kind of up and moved to Hattiesburg, and it was just one of the times that God or whatever your belief is,
23rd
kind of shined his light in my life, and it was a blessing. From there, I had a daughter, joined the Air Force, and spent 10 years roaming around the world, training dogs and deploying with dogs, and did some really, really cool stuff. One of my deployments, one of the bigger deployments I had, was a 5-month tour in Afghanistan with the Navy SEALs, where I was attached to him and went out and took over this guy's house, or took over a house, and just we were the first American presence in that area, and did some really, really interesting work. And having a dog along with you when you're doing stuff like that, it's a truly special dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. Like anybody that has been over in that situation and has done what those guys do, it can be tough, right? But having a dog with you it makes it a lot different. You have your constant partner with you, and even though I had my wife and kids at home, I still had a piece of my heart with me. So it was a little bit of a different experience.
Absolutely. I flashed the photo that we were talking about that I pulled off of your Facebook page here. It's showing right now. So it's just you. I'm assuming Afghanistan from the photo, the dog, and then a man with a blacked out face. We can't talk about that. We don't know. It's just somebody that was there for reasons that
a great
were
American,
needed. Great American hero.
Yeah,
and that dog you have in the picture, her name is Kitty.
Okay.
Actually. So Kitty was 9 years old when that picture was taken, 9 or 10 years old. She was a Belgian Malinois. I deployed to Afghanistan with her. She actually retired at 12 years old after she dislocated her hip biting someone. And so at 12 years old, the vet was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. That's good enough. And she came home and lived with me until she was 14.
That's cool.
And passed away. So
okay.
She had a full
She did.
life.
She had a full life.
She
So
had an absolutely
that's
full
good.
life.
Let me click here. So it was the 29th. I was correct there. August 29th, Katrina. I don't know what that first date came up with. But anyway, so you moved a week prior to Katrina up to Hattiesburg. I heard that part.
Yeah.
What timing that was. Good for you.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You sold your house, or were you in an apartment at the time?
We were renting at the time. We were poor as could be.
If you sold your house, you might have
really.
Sorry for the person who bought it, but
sorry.
So went to Hattiesburg on a whim. You said what was
kind of
the
on
reason?
a whim.
If you said it, I missed it. I was looking.
It was kind of on a whim. We weren't married at the time. We got married. She kind of had this idea of like, I want to go back to school.
Okay.
So we just picked up and moved from Long Beach to Hattiesburg. She was going to go to USM and ended up not going to school. And we spent, I think, about 6 or 7 months up there, and then decided like, hey, we need something, right?
Okay.
We brought a life into this world. Like we need something. We need health insurance, if nothing else.
No joke. Yeah, that's some adult stuff.
And so that led us down the path of the military, and I decided on the Air Force, and it was a good decision.
Okay.
It set myself up for a really amazing career.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, the one that kind of propelled me that way, she's in her 3rd year of USM right now in Hattiesburg. So she's
to the top, baby.
I mean, that alone was worth my time. Right. That alone. I have another daughter. She's 16. She'll be graduating in December, and she's looking to go up to USM as well. So all those benefits that I fought for are currently being
rolled on
utilized.
that GI Bill.
Yeah,
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the oldest doing in school?
She is majoring in psychology and sociology, and she's looking into a master's program, I think in like Rhode Island or some shit.
Oh wow.
That's cool.
Okay.
Okay. She's one of those kids that school just comes real naturally to. So super pumped.
Not
for her,
I.
super proud of her.
I had to fight my way through it.
I'm still fighting through mine every day.
What so you joined the Air Force. What was when you initially joined the Air Force, what was your MOS?
It was I cannot believe I forgot that.
Did you go straight into dog training?
It
or was there
wasn't.
something
No, there's a code for it. I can't remember the code. But it was a military police.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Air Force,
that makes
they
sense.
call them security forces, but it's military police. And I did that for 5 years. I deployed 3 times before switching and becoming Canine. I went Canine in 2010-ish, 2011.
Okay.
And that was right before the war in Afghanistan really ramped up, right? So they were really needing more dogs. So I got a decent chunk of change for going Canine. And it was a job that I was absolutely pumped about and passionate for, and kind of a natural at. It was a really natural fit.
So you had no prior experience with dogs before this?
Not other than like pets.
Right.
Right.
When I was growing up, I was the oldest of 7, and I was always the one that was training our dogs just
naturally.
because.
Basic commands, stuff like that. Yeah.
Just very naturally. My first dog I ever got was a golden retriever, Sonny, and I actually grew up. So you guys know where the USM Gulf Coast campus is?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's on Beach Park, right? That's the road that it's on, and that's where I grew up at. Was on Beach Park.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Beach
What a
Park.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And so I would take Sonny into that big open field right there on 90, right? With all those gorgeous oak
Big
trees.
oak tree.
Yeah.
And I would go hit golf balls, and Sonny would go find my golf balls and bring them back to me.
Wow.
And just all day long.
Probably couldn't get him tired. What was it? I guess it's a boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably just ran till his just tongue was hanging out.
Couldn't. Yeah, that dog would have run himself to death.
Yeah. Nuts.
When you transitioned over to the canine stuff, was that still under the umbrella of the police in the Air Force?
It was. However, I kind of lucked up and I went to a specialty unit, not special forces, right? Not special forces, but a specialty unit in Georgia, in Valdosta, Georgia. It was basically, instead of going to a police unit and working as a police handler, I went to a unit where our job was to deploy and train. That was it. So when I was in garrison, as they call it, when I was at home, we were just going out and training. It was just me. I worked in a kennel of 21 people, 21 dogs. Started as a handler, worked up to a trainer, from a trainer to the kennel master, where I was in charge of everybody. But our entire mission when we were home was to prepare to go out with Navy SEALs and Delta and some of these special team guys, right?
Yeah.
And so we had a pretty intense training regimen.
That's a tier 1 attachment, is what you're
saying. Exactly right.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. And not all of our attachments were with tier 1, but it happened, absolutely. And so we trained for that. And so it was a pretty intense and pretty rigorous duty station, but it was well worth it.
What was these dogs, what are they looking for? Were they sniffing IDs? Drugs, people? What is it?
So there's a really big distinction between drugs and bombs.
Right.
Because we don't want, if there's a bomb, we want to know there's a bomb.
Right.
And so you either have drug dogs or you have bomb dogs. I was bomb dog.
Okay.
And so I had what was called a patrol explosive detector dog.
Okay.
PEDD. So patrol, searching for people, can attack people, can find people if need be. Explosive, looking for explosive detector dog. And so I had a dog that could search for people, attack people if needed on command, and could also find explosives.
Wow.
So the search for people, that's like even like in a 9/11 situation, like if you had a body trapped underneath, same thing, right?
Kind of. So those dogs, you're going more towards like cadaver if there's if it's like a body rather than human. Yeah. But yes, absolutely. If there was a human body under the rubble, for example, yes, she or they dogs could absolutely be trained to do that.
What were yours doing specifically when you say people?
Yeah. So mine was I was more geared towards explosive detection because that's where I was needed. That being said, when you're in like a combat situation, obviously having a dog that is capable of protecting you,
absolutely,
should something pop right out at you, is a benefit, big time, and not to mention the intimidation factor, right?
A lot of people are scared of dogs. Pretty much everybody's scared of dogs if they're barking at you. I mean, should be.
And Kitty, the one I was with, she was 44 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Not tiny. She was 44 pounds. Is not a large dog, but boy, oh boy, was she ferocious. Oh my goodness. So when she would bite, like we would practice bite work all the time, and she got a couple real bites. But her favorite thing to do, I mean, both of y'all are pretty big guys, right? I would tell them, or if they were running, just go. You know what? Just go.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
And Kitty would launch from one end of the table to the other end of the table and hit you right in your trap and just
roll you
just
over.
Roll, man. It was so much fun to watch.
I think I've seen videos like that where the guys are wearing the big suits. Some of them have to do the full body, right? To do what you're talking about, where the dog just goes after.
And all those tools, all those different training tools serve different purposes. You have the suit, you have the arm sleeve, you have the leg sleeve. You also have like hidden sleeves and neoprene to where a dog's not just looking like, oh, look at that giant fluffy toy, right? You can also train to where they're not really seeing anything and they think they're biting an arm or a leg where there's some protection for like us, because that
Oh yeah,
they hurt.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
What is? How do you get paired off with a dog? Is there any kind of lottery? Is it like you get this one, you get this one? How does that work?
So in the Air Force, and some of this stuff does change periodically, so I don't know if it's still the same. But from when I was in, the dogs actually belong to the base, right? So when I went to Valdosta, when I went to Moody Air Force Base, the dogs that were there, Kitty, she belonged to the base, kind of like the Humvees did.
Right.
And so when I came in, my kennel master, if they did a great job, if they did a good job, which they did, they would get to know me and say, okay, I see you, I see what you have to offer. Let's go try this dog. And you would try to match dogs with the personality of their human or vice versa. Because there are certain dogs that like just need a really strong alpha handler. And then there's some other dogs that really could use a softer hand, could use potentially like a female handler because they just don't need that aggressive, like you're going to do what I say or else type of mentality. And so the kennel master, the one in charge of the kennel, would try to match them and pair them with a dog that suited them. That doesn't always happen, right? A kennel master, one, may not just be good at reading people, may not care, and sometimes you just kind of have to force matches just because you.
Who's available?
Hey, I got a dog, and I got a person.
Make it work.
I've always heard that they were trained. Dogs are trained in different languages. Is there anything to that?
So this is some of the special forces dogs are. Yes. Some of the special forces dogs are actually trained in Germany and in the Netherlands. And yes, they're trained on different commands. And look, in those dogs, man, those dogs are animals. And I mean, animals. Their obedience isn't really great a lot of times because we don't want to dampen any of their like drive. Their natural drive. Yeah, exactly right. And like some of these lines have been doing this type of work for hundreds of years. And so when like the Delta Force, for example, or the Navy SEALs or some of these tier 1 guys, when they go and they request a dog, they're going in and they're looking for something very specific, right? And they don't need a dog that's going to listen to everything. They need a dog that's going to act.
Like, this one might not sit, but he's a real deal. Yeah.
So, and like some of the, like those guys, I've seen a dog literally get shot, right? And not release the bite. That's what those guys are looking for. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're not going to sit, fine,
right?
But
yes,
I'll take what I'll take what you give me.
Yeah, that's like the dogs that they chase the hogs. Those dogs have to be super
Catahoula's.
Catahoula's.
So Catahoula's were bred for that. They were actually bred in Kiln, Mississippi. And they were bred for hog hunting. So one of my favorite dogs I've ever trained ever, and I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit. My personal dogs was a 90-pound Catahoula that had never, ever been told no. And so this dog kicked my ass for 2.5 weeks. And then all of a sudden, in 2.5 weeks, everything changed.
He's like, all right.
And his dad is like, he was a former Marine, or is a Marine, was a Marine. Those guys are always Marines. But he works as a cop down in New Orleans now. He lives next to Tulane. He texts me periodically and is like, hey, man, this dog is still alive and still thriving because of you. That's pretty killer.
I don't know what you did to get his hard-headed ass to listen, but you did it.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the dogs that were where you were at. Is it different breeds? Is it the same breed? How do they do that?
So the military dogs that specifically, they use all types of breeds, right? I've even seen poodles. I've seen spaniels. I've seen like labs.
In the military?
Yeah, they're not very good at it.
I wouldn't think so.
But certain poodles do have like a search and rescue potential. Right. What people don't know about poodles is they're actually one of the most all around great working dogs. They're used a lot in water. And actually the reason, the poodle cut looks so stupid, right? It's because of water dynamics. It keeps their chest warm and it keeps where their blood flows warm because they go into cold water. Right. So they have some benefits. But to your question, specifically they are looking for German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois. German Shepherds have been doing this job for a long time. Right. They have been bred to, hey, buddy, sit here and bark if you see something. If anything gets close, bite it. Right. So they've been bred to do this exact job. Right. Shepherds usually tend to get a little bit lazy at about 6 to 8 years old. Right. Their hips start to go out. Hip dysplasia is really big in that breed. Belgian Malinois are a whole nother monster. Right. Really? Like they live to work. These dogs can be trained to do anything. And when I say anything, I do mean anything. If you were willing to put the time and energy into training a Malinois, there's nothing you can't get that dog to do. I promise you.
Really?
I don't recommend most people getting them for pets. I do not.
Because they need to work.
Yeah, you can't just sit around the house.
To work. Yeah. Shepherds on the other hand, like you can get a shepherd and like as long as you give them a job, they're going to settle in and they're going to find their way and they'll listen. And as long as you're healthy and supportive leader,
throw the ball and stuff like that,
then you can have a really good relationship with a shepherd. A Malinois, unless you're training for a triathlon, you ain't doing enough to get that dog's energy out. And like they will destroy your home. Now, that being said, can you get a Malinois and have them as a really good pet? Yes, but please think about it before you do it.
Go buy a flock of sheep or something with it.
Yeah,
it has something to do.
Give them like Xanax every day or Benadryl every day or something. Yeah. That's crazy. When you said poodle earlier, I always do that. I always think Chihuahua for some reason.
Using the little tiny ones. Pool. Yeah. You know, there was full.
No, they have the big ones. It clicked about halfway when you started talking. I was like, wait a minute. They are bigger dogs. But could you imagine like showing up to the military, like you got your rifle in the hand, you like a Chihuahua. Like, who's punking me here? I'm not doing this. This
isn't funny, guys.
Yeah. But so you kind of said it, but I mean, the German Shepherds and that Malinois, they're just bred for that. I mean, that's just what's in their genes. That's why you always see them in these situations.
You're exactly right. And Shepherds specifically, there are certain working lines, right? My buddy from KProK9, Evan, that we were talking about earlier, he just got a beautiful little working line Shepherd that, I mean, this thing is, you can hold him in, I mean, he's tiny, but that thing's already biting. He's already biting the wrap. He's already doing bite work and like getting ready, not anything mean or rough, but like getting ready for it because it's just in him. Yeah. Right? And so there are certain shepherd lines. And that's one thing that I really like hitting on is like, before you go out and get a dog, like as a professional dog, like before you go out and get a dog, make sure you know what you're getting. right? Make sure you do a really honest inventory of what your life is about.
Yep.
And then don't get a dog think, oh, this dog's going to make me exercise. No, it ain't.
Nope.
No, it won't.
You're just gonna be mad at it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yep.
I was going to ask if there was certain breeders that the military go through just to make sure that the bloodline is correct, and I guess there are, right?
There are. I can't remember the name of the kennels, but there's kennels in Germany. There's kennels in Belgium. There's in a couple other places throughout the world. That so the hub of the military working dog world is in Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, and so they actually have a puppy program there that they are breeding dogs, and they're because we've had some more time with it. I think they're getting better and better at it.
Yeah.
But the puppy program, we've been doing it for 30, 40 years, 50 years, 6 years. I don't know exactly, but the Germans have been doing it for hundreds of years. And so the product
Right.
line is just superior, which is why we were saying like the tier 1 guys go over there and get their.
We need to steal some of them German dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cool story, actually, I was in law school one day, and a buddy of mine was still in the Air Force, and he was in Africa. And I'm sitting in the library of the LSU Law Center, and I'm kind of hating my life. And this guy calls me, and he's like, "Hey, bud, I got good news for you. What you doing?" I'm like, "Studying, hating my life. What are you doing?" And he told me he knew a guy that was working in San Antonio. The canine world is pretty small. Anyway, long story short, they named a puppy program dog after Kitty, my dog in the photo.
Okay.
So like, because of what we did, that kind of, not that it was like made waves, but like people knew about what Kitty and I were doing when we were out there. That's kind of unheard of for the Air Force to be out with the tier 1 guys, Navy SEALs, all that. So Kitty actually got the honor of being like having a dog named after her.
That's awesome.
Through the puppy program.
That's
I love it.
awesome.
And dog's still alive. I still get updates on her periodically. Love it.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you
The
don't.
new dog.
Oh, the new
The
dog.
new
Okay,
dog,
okay,
new
okay,
dog.
yeah.
My-
okay,
my
yeah,
kitty
yeah.
cat.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha. That's what confused me.
Have you seen? I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no,
Have
no.
you seen any like hunting dogs? Usually they go female because females tend to listen better than males and stuff like that. Have you noticed anything
not in
with
the
that?
human world, though. It's weird.
I didn't say that. Joey Case did not say that. But Jared Seymour. did.
Here we go.
Have
Anyway.
you seen any of that in your training, military wise?
Yes and no. Like the male dogs, like when I yes and no.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, the male dogs just have that like,
Yeah.
I want to hurt you, right? Whereas females are a little
Because
more.
they're not fixed. They're fully
Right.
intact.
Yeah.
Right. And so they have that. They
Yeah.
have that testosterone going
Right.
through them, and that helps.
Yeah.
Females don't have that, but man, to sit here and say that females don't have it is wrong,
Mhm.
because I have seen some monstrous female dogs. But if I look back and say, okay, what are my top 3-4 dogs? I think all of them would probably be males.
Really?
I think
What do
so.
you mean
Yeah.
top 3? Do you mean in aggression, or do you mean in overall listening abilities, detecting abilities, like well-rounded top 3?
I honestly, now that you say that, maybe I'll change my answer.
Yeah.
Bite work.
Yeah.
Right.
There you
Bite
go.
work, aggression,
Mhm.
male, I think.
Yeah.
Not to not to
Right.
say that the females are lacking, but just the bigger, badder hitters.
Yeah,
I've
they're
seen.
just,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
bigger dogs. The
But
males.
they're too, right? You bifurcate that. I think the females probably do listen a little bit better because of the
Yeah.
same exact reasons.
Mhm.
So
That's
I know I will never own another male dog. Personally,
Right.
I'm a female dog.
Yeah.
Fan.
Same.
I'm tired of having pee in my house.
Yeah.
It's like in the field. I mean, if you can get a male dog to sit down and listen long enough to do what you need him to do,
Mhm.
he's probably better than the female dog. But the female dog's just sitting there like,
Right.
yeah, I got you.
That's
I got
right.
you. You know what I'm saying?
Just love me.
Yeah,
Just-
that's it.
I'll do whatever you want. I'll
Yeah.
do whatever you want. Yeah. What's so when you have the dog with like with the Air Force, right? And you said y'all were doing bomb detection work
Mhm.
predominantly. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. What's the difference between what you were doing with the bomb detection and being attached to the tier 1 guys versus when they have their own dog and their own dog guy inside the unit? What how does that break down?
So the team guys, and I don't know all of the ins and outs
Right,
of this, right? So
right.
I may be saying things that are a little off, but from what I've seen,
From your
from my
yeah.
perspective, the team guys offer something that I just couldn't. Right, like if you are a Navy SEAL and you have a dog, you are a higher caliber of what you offer
Correct.
as what we call a force multiplier.
Gotcha.
Dogs and dog handlers are force multipliers, meaning I and Kitty could do the job of 25 regular people,
Mhm.
right? As a SEAL or a tier 1 operator, those guys are capable of things that I didn't get the training, right? So they can be put into situations that I just couldn't. Their dogs also go through training that my dog wasn't able to go through, right? Jumping out of airplanes.
I was going to say,
like
I've seen
That's
that.
They offer another level. There are very few dogs and dog handlers in tier 1, from what I understand.
I would imagine. I mean, there's very few humans,
which is why I
that,
got that experience to go out there with them, because they didn't have enough dogs, and the one they had got injured. And so they do offer something different just because of their training. Like those guys are another level. They really are.
Gotcha.
If you can. I mean, you got to actually train and get this dog to trust you enough to jump out of a plane. Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I bet the dog the first time was like, I don't like you anymore. You know what I'm saying? You let me jump out of this plane. I have no idea.
I think they put goggles on them though.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to like knowing your dog, right? And we were talking about like kennel master, knowing you have to have a dog strong enough to be able to put up with that, because that will ruin a dog if they're not ready for it, right? And so you have to know that and that goes back to the importance of what we've been talking about so far, going over there and getting those dogs that I know this dog's gonna be capable of this. I know this isn't gonna shut that dog down. Yeah. And that goes directly into the breeding selection and their training. And you can, again, I talked about the Malinois. You can train these dogs to do anything. And if you get a Malinois that is confident in its ability,
good luck. You can do anything in the world. It's still your wallet.
Anything at all.
Use your credit card.
I
driving my car.
Yeah.
You can see these dogs. I mean, sometimes people will do like they'll put a tug 30, 40 feet up a wall. Right?
I've seen it.
Like American Ninja Warrior style.
Run up it.
And just straight up. It's wild what these dogs can do.
And then they like catch them on the way down because they go so high. That's wild.
When you're in training, is that dog coming home with you? Are they staying with you, or they stay at the base?
So when we're again in garrison, when we're at home, they stay in the kennels. It's a liability that the military just doesn't want to handle. When you deploy, whether you deploy to training to overseas location, or I'll travel with the Secret Service a whole lot. They would actually stay with me. And so that was a really neat experience also, because the dog obviously really bonds stronger when they're with you than when they're in the kennel. And so it brings a whole nother dynamic to that relationship. Like I was talking about earlier, having a dog in a deployed location is, I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, it really is. And then being able to travel through airports and with the Secret Service and stuff like that, that's a whole nother experience that's just fantastic.
How long were you in for, did you say?
10 years.
Okay.
So I did 5 in security forces and 5 in K9.
Gotcha. Wow, that's pretty
legit. Yeah.
Do they try to keep, once you've like partnered with the dog, do they try to keep that dog with you as long as they can, forever? Is it job dependent? How does that work?
It's job and branch dependent, I believe.
Okay.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think like the Army or the Marines, like you come in and like you get your dog, and that dog goes with you even if you leave. Whereas in the Air Force, like I said, Kitty belonged to Moody Air Force Base. And there's a whole lot that, like when I was in, I don't remember what year, military working dogs were officially swapped from being looked at as equipment to creatures, right? And the verbiage on that may be wrong, but they were considered equipment, the same thing as like a Humvee or a tractor. And there was legislation that was passed that moved them from equipment to more like personnel. Right. But there's still a whole lot that dog psychology wise that now that I'm on the outside looking in, and now that I have been working with dogs in the way that I have for the time that I have, I really hope changes over the next in our future
to make them more,
to make their psychology a little bit better. I think that the staying in a kennel, whether we like it or not, right, and not in a kennel in our home, but like in a humane society or in a kennel at like Moody Air Force Base, I don't want to say it causes trauma, but it ain't.
It ain't cool.
It ain't healthy. Yeah, it's not healthy.
I think a lot of humans feel that way in a cubicle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We're like, we just know it ain't good.
Exactly.
They got to get out and run, stretch your legs.
Yeah. So, and I think the military is having, obviously, liability first, right? You can't just have a whole bunch of military working dogs going home with a bunch of a-hole Army men and Air Force guys
in a neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. And so there is a balance, but I really do think that there's a lot to be improved upon as far as dog welfare goes in the military. And again, I don't want us to get on here and bash the military that they're doing anything wrong.
No, understood. Yeah.
But also like the science of dogs, it's cynology, right? CY-nology. is just now starting.
Right.
Like if you look into academia, Auburn was the first one to offer a bachelor's degree in dog training. There's a bunch of master's programs. You can actually get your doctorate in dog behavior.
Oh,
Right,
wow.
in a few different places. And so the study of dogs and the study of dog psychology is really coming onto line and really opening up the way we look at dogs. And I am a firm believer that we are in the middle of like a massive mindset shift in relation to dogs, right? We're going from a sense of dog ownership, and this is like my property, to this is my companion. And that mentality switch brings on a whole host of questions.
Are you talking military specifically?
I'm talking pets more so now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I kind of feel personally like most people would think, for the most part, that the dogs are their family members, right?
But I know what you're talking about, because
agreed.
my grandpa, when he had hunting dogs, they were
different to me.
tools.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
They were tools,
Yeah.
and if they didn't work,
They
got
didn't-
rid of your tools. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
And
right.
that's,
Well, and a lot of times they slept out in the garage or they slept
Right.
outside,
Right,
right?
right,
And like, and not to say that that's unhealthy or bad or mean or anything like that, but I think we're realizing that these dogs have so much more than we understand.
Mhm.
Emotionally,
They're a packed animal, right?
they're,
Pack animal.
they're
They have to
pack
be.
animals, and they have evolved next to us for what 25,000 years,
Long
maybe,
time.
I don't know.
for a long
Yeah.
time. And so their psychology kind of mirrors ours because we have evolved together for the last 25,000 years or whatever it has been. And so their psychology, it's not the same,
Mhm.
but it mirrors ours. And the amount of emotions that they are capable of are far greater than I think most people give them credit for.
Mm.
Right. There are a couple dogs that I have in mind where, like, one in particular, I'll tell you about, Daffodil. She had an older mom, I think she was in her 80s, 90s, and she passed away. So another older lady took her and passed away. And Daffodil ended up staying with the second mom, deceased body, for about 3 or 4 days before she was found. Right.
Ooh.
So the second woman's son contacted me and sent Daffodil to me. And I had Daffodil for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I just couldn't give her up. Right. And she was supposed to be there for 3. He didn't know what to do. He was trying to figure out all of his mom's stuff. And I was like, look, just keep her. I got her, whatever.
right.
There were times where I would come home and I would just bawl after training this dog, because I realized that she was depressed, right? She was sad. She was grief stricken, almost to the point of like almost suicidal. Like this dog
Really?
was so sad that it made me realize that, like, oh, I'm not giving these dogs enough credit,
Mhm.
right? Like they are experiencing things, emotionally speaking, that I didn't think they were capable of.
Mhm.
So that kind of leads back to like the military and the dog welfare. I really hope that we're on the verge in the next decade or so of revamping the way that we look at our military dogs as well, as not just as tools, like you were saying with the hot dogs, but like this very emotional and capable creature needs certain things. And when those needs are met, then the product of what you get from that tool is increased significantly.
Mhm. Yeah, I want to get to your after military stuff, your canine coaching with Chris. But before we move to that, I want to know, like, when you were selected to do the 5 years of the dog training that you did, is there a selection process for that? Because I gotta assume that your personality has to be, like some people are like they're just a dog person or they're not a dog person, right? Like, do they try to figure out in the military, or is it just whoever signs up because to go and then they weed you out after? Like, is there any
Prerequisites?
prerequisites to that?
So from what I understand from that, that's more of it's on the commander at the base, or at the squadron at the base level, and the kennel master. When I was at Moody for those 5 years, when I was training and the trainer and the kennel master, we would have people come over all the time, like, hey, I want to go canine. How do I make this happen? And we would put them through not necessarily a selection process per se, but definitely like, hey, you need to know what this job is about.
Right.
This is an amazing job.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You're not just petting dogs all day long.
Right. But there's a lot that entails it, not just going down range, but somebody has to be here every night, right? We have to come in here and check on these dogs every night. We have to work weekends. You don't. Right. There's a lot more when you're taking care of a live animal. And so we would put them through that. And there were probably 3 people that I went to the commander and said, listen, I know that's not my choice.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow this, then it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do it.
They ain't gonna work.
I wouldn't do it.
They don't got it.
Yep. They just don't have it.
You have to be able to pick up on cues,
Absolutely.
body language.
Absolutely.
I think some people I don't think they can do that with humans. Like I've seen people, I'm like, you didn't tell
You
what their
just see that?
posture
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
couldn't tell the
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
They're like, oh, and it's like,
And you're hitting on something major too, right?
Yeah.
Like we can have a whole podcast on like on dog body language and versus humans body language. But more directly than that, you're right. Like most people don't know how to communicate
that's what
like this, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to do that with another species that doesn't speak your language?
Right.
And if
Right.
you're not picking up on all those cues, then you're not going to be good at your job. In addition to that, are you actually a leader? Right? Can you sit with this creature and gain their trust, respect, and love in a way that makes them want to work for you? Because some people just don't, and that's okay. But you shouldn't be in a job where 67 people's lives depend on you.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah, I think of Cesar Millan. I'm sure you're well aware of him. But when that show was out, I think it was Nat Geo. Like I watched it all the time. Like I was just blown away by that guy, and to see the contrast between a problem dog or a uncontrollable dog to someone who speaks the dog language to then fix the dog, if that's the right word, and then bring him back to the owner, and the dog immediately goes right back to the behavior because he knows the human's not the leader. Right.
And that right there is the hardest part of my job, right? Dogs are easy.
Yeah.
Dogs are easy.
That was his motto. I
rehabilitate
rehabilitate dogs and I train people.
Yes,
that's what he
absolutely.
said.
And I haven't watched a whole lot of Caesar.
I watched a lot.
I started watching him, I don't know, 6 months ago or so.
Really?
Really liked the game. But I didn't think I liked him. But I just started watching maybe 6 months ago or so, a year ago, I don't know. He and I are pretty much in line.
Okay.
He talks a lot about how dogs are energetic creatures, right? The energy of what the dog is giving off and the energy of what the human is giving off.
And body language, energy to me, same term.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are really simple not being the same word as easy. There are very simple ways to take the leash and gain a dog's trust, respect, and love very quickly, right? And knowing how to do that and understanding what the dog is telling you is key to that, because the base, what people don't understand about, what most people don't understand about dogs, there's a big difference between giving your dog what they want and giving your dog what they need. And if you are giving your dog everything they need, not want, that dog's going to do anything you ask them to do.
That's right.
Period. But that being said, what they need is guidance and structure, right? They need a leader. They need somebody to sit there and say, hey, buddy, I don't need you to do that.
That's right.
No, I need you to do this. And when you do that, I'm going to give you something awesome for it. Right. And so you're setting boundaries, you're holding them to those boundaries, you're giving them structure inside their head. Most of the most like troublesome dogs I see, other than ones that like really have some psychological issues, they just haven't been told no. They haven't been told, hey, this is your job. This is what I expect of you. And here's what's in it for you. Right. Because all dogs want to do is have fun. That's it. Have you ever met a dog that wanted to like not have fun? That's all they want to do.
Tear stuff up, go swimming, jump around.
It's great. What do you mean you're mad?
Right.
Why are you mad at me?
I tore up all this trash.
Yeah, I got rid of him for you.
And two of the best examples of that is like keep away and catch me if you can. Right. Ever seen a dog that like puts play bows and like, yeah, come get me.
Right. Right.
You chase that dog, you're going to be frustrated. He's going to have the best day of his life.
Yeah. He thinks you're playing. Yeah.
Well, I guess we rolled into your
post-military
job, what you're doing now. So explain that a little bit and give us a background on that.
So I'll take a little step back if you don't mind.
Okay,
After the military, I went straight into law school, and I went to law school at LSU, 2017 to 2020. I graduated in 2020, and about a semester before, obviously everybody knows what happened in 2020. Lives were changing, right? And so I took that time and I really got myself right. I was not right from the military. My body was broken, my mind was broken. So I took 2020 and used it to my advantage big time. And at the end, there wasn't really an end of it, but at the end of that, I realized like, I can't do this. I can't do this job. Like I don't want to do it. I don't want to sit in an office. There's no way. I also worked 2 summers on Capitol Hill. So between the military, the law degree, and seeing how our law works, and then being on Capitol Hill and see how it's put into place,
you was like, I'm out. You're not the first lawyer on this show who did not like what he was lawyering.
And I will say, and I have my law degree. I can go back into it if I decide to, and I might.
So you went the whole way through, passed the bar, did the whole thing.
So 2020 didn't even have to pass the bar. In Louisiana, you didn't have to pass the bar. You just had to do, I think it was like 6 months worth of volunteer and like 21 continued legal education courses.
So you got the COVID pass.
I didn't take it.
Well, that's what he's saying. You got to pass. You didn't have to take it. Yeah.
COVID pass,
I didn't even do any of that though.
Yeah.
I knew so strongly that I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay in bar dues. No. So I didn't even. So yes, I passed the law school, right?
Correct.
But I did not pass the bar. I didn't even take the bar. I didn't even accept it, even though I didn't have to like take the test. So
Right. You just had to do the CEs or whatever.
I just don't.
I didn't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't want it. So,
okay. Dude, that's a lot of work to just walk away.
My dad
like
thought
that.
I was an idiot.
Saying, yeah.
But I don't know. It hit me. I knew it, and there was something innate in me that was like, this just isn't right. And there are there are lawyers out there doing really good work, right? But for me, I had a feeling there's no way I can be happy if I do this.
Let me ask you real quick. Why did you want to do law? Why did you pick that?
That's a good question.
It's a good job. It's going to be financially set. It's prestigious. And let me just do it.
I think that was it.
Yeah. It makes sense.
So like when you're in kindergarten, it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? A baseball
Doctor,
player,
lawyer.
an astronaut,
So
a lawyer.
Looking back, knowing what I know now, it was the most challenging thing I could think of. Right. Like when I came out of the military and dig a little deeper here, I did 40 days of inpatient mental health rehab, right? To get myself straight.
Right.
I really went through some stuff. And so
deployment wise,
okay. Yep.
Right.
And so law school was the most challenging thing that I could think of. I literally did not think I was smart enough to do it. I did not. And I was a classic example of the imposter syndrome. If y'all have ever heard about that, I was like the poster child for that. I just didn't think I belonged, didn't think I was smart enough, whatever. Ended up finishing in the top third of my class.
You needed a ball to chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
I needed a challenge so that I wasn't sitting inside of here.
You got to keep your mind somewhere else.
Yes.
So hey, I mean, look, big picture. Maybe that was exactly what you were supposed to
do.
do.
It was exactly what I was supposed to be. And we said earlier in a different context, getting it wrong is the most important part of learning. I've gotten it wrong a lot.
That's right.
Like in life and in relationships, I've gotten it wrong a lot.
I heard one too. The only real failure is if you quit.
Yes.
If you keep going, you just learned.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that legal education was beautiful, right? That was a fantastic education. I learned more than I wanted to, honestly, but it also restructured my brain, right? One of my favorite professors told us, he's like, we're manipulating y'all, right? We're restructuring your brain. And I sat back and thought about it afterwards and was like,
you think differently.
You do. You absolutely.
I would assume for y'all, I know in like healthcare, that's where I work. You think it's critical thinking.
Yep.
Right. I'm sure it's the same version of that.
It's very similar. And what it did, again, now looking back on what I was actually experiencing, I was in a certain mindset, and law school gave me the tools to structure the chaos that was my brain, right? Law school helped me bring order to that chaos. Funny enough, that's exactly what I'm doing for these dogs, right? And that exact line of thinking. These dogs, we were just talking about how they never have structure. They don't have someone tell them what to do. It's chaos.
Right.
And I help them bring order to that chaos. Without law school, I would not be the dog trainer that I am.
There you go.
So I'm very thankful I did it. So graduated in May of 2020. Had no clue what I was going to do. None. Was just kind of doing my thing. I was also going through a divorce at the time. I was separating my wife. And in November, a good friend of mine, Ted Carlson, who actually was my trainer in the military and got out a few years before me, passed away. And he left a dog training business, a wife, and 2 kids. So he and I were really great friends. And then we had a little bit of a falling out. When he passed away, I went to his wife and I was like, look, who was my ex-wife's first cousin?
Oh,
so
wow.
family, friends, really all tied in. And I told her, I was like, look, I'm here. If you need me, like, I'm here. I will run this business. You go do whatever it is you need to do and get yourself, situated after what just happened. And so she hired me. I worked there for 2 years, fell in love with dogs and realized like, oh, okay, this is why I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
This is why I'm not practicing.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah,
Right.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I worked there for 2 years. And decided a lot of personal reasons, like, all right, it's time to go home. So I moved from Mandeville, Louisiana, back to Long Beach, Mississippi. Started up Canine Coaching with Chris, and September of this year will be 4 years that I've been there.
Wow. Okay. I want to drop this in the comments here, your thing, but
yeah, tell us about that. So like, I'm guessing we get the dog and it's kind of, we're not going to PetSmart or anything like that. We want the dog to have some training. We bring it to you. Is that how it kind of works?
Yep. So I do every once in a while I do offer where I'll come to you and help you train your dog and like help you, give you the knowledge to actually do the training. But really my bread and butter is what we call board and train, right? They're going to come with me and they're going to stay for 3 weeks. I teach a 16-word vocabulary list. And with that vocabulary list, I teach them how to live in my household. I teach them how to hang out in my house, how to play in the backyard, how to go on leash walks. Most of what I teach in the form of games. All right, leash walking, it's a game.
Right.
And I set rules, I set boundaries, just like Monopoly, right? If we sit down and play Monopoly, it's only going to be fun if we play by the rules.
Yeah.
Leash walking is the same thing. Then you have, fetch, tug, cuddling, ping pong with a purpose. Like there's a whole bunch of games that I use to teach this vocabulary and reinforce these boundaries and that I'm setting. You know what I mean? And so we spend 3 weeks learning how to behave in my household in the backyard. I usually have like 3 dogs at a time. And so as long as there's not any issues, they all play together. And they actually learn as much from that as they do from me. Right, because dogs playing with each other is a very, very natural thing.
Right.
Now it can get dangerous pretty quick. I'm not a giant fan of dog parks for a lot of reasons, but under the right circumstances, where you're watching them and guiding and stepping in when you need to, it's very, very healthy. And they learn, boundaries from them. Right. If dog A is biting dog B and dog B whines, dog A is going to back up, or else dog B is going to retaliate.
Right.
And so they learn as much from playing. It's really, my whole program is kind of like a summer camp, like for dogs. We wake up, we have training time in the morning, we have individual time in the morning, then we have playtime, group playtime, we have cuddle time, we have leash walking, we have all these things structured throughout our day. So that
sounds
the dog,
just like a summer camp.
It's just like summer camp.
We're
It's a
swim at
blast.
9, go to the movies at 3.
Then we have lunch. Then we have lunch.
So much fun because again, I want these dogs to want to do what I'm asking them to do and build that emotional drive to listen.
Right.
Because dogs are very, very emotional creatures. Think of a dog that like sees another dog and just goes nuts. That's an emotional reaction. And so I flip the script on that and I create emotional attachments to listening rather than reacting. And then when they react or whenever they do something wrong or quote unquote bad, right? Then there's a repercussion for that action. There's a consequence for that action. It doesn't need to be harsh. It doesn't need to be mean, but it needs to be communicated to them in a way that they understand, hey, I don't like that. Don't do that. Right. Whereas when you do this, we're going to get that energetic response of like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. Really cool way to live. The biggest part of my job, when we talked about earlier, after the dog, I have 3 weeks to convince this dog to like me, right? And to build trust, respect, and love. Then I have 2 hours to convince mom and or dad and everybody else in the household to do what I'm asking them to do for the dog's benefit. And humans don't like change.
No,
we don't
that's
like
good because I thought we'd have to come live with you for 3 weeks the same way as a dog.
I would charge way more.
Yeah. The results would probably be better.
probably
The results would be way better.
Yeah.
Yes, they would. But
what are the age requirements? So do you? Is it better to start as a puppy? If I get a dog middle age, if I get can you do the whole spectrum of years?
So I'm not cheap, right? So and we just had Christmas, and I'm not blind to the fact that I do charge a decent amount of money. Yeah, but this is not as much as I love this job.
It's a lot of work.
It's stressful.
Yeah,
right? We talked about daffodil and like all that, the emotions of it. It happens, right? That being said, right, you call me and say, hey, I got a dog. Not that I'm a millionaire, but I want to do it right. So I'm willing to spend the money. Yeah. Here's what I would tell you. Send that dog to me for puppy training, right? 3 months old, 4 months old, whatever age it is, whatever age you get it. Send it to learn the really basic potty training, kennel training. Don't bite me. Don't jump on me, right? That'll be 2 weeks. Go home, send him back at 6 months. 6 months, now let's train,
Mhm.
right? I like to wait until they're at least 5 months old, preferably 6 months, because before then, the 4-month-old dog is really just
nuts. A
they're
toddler.
they're nuts.
running
They're
around,
toddlers. Yeah. They're learning how to live, right?
Right.
They're learning
Yeah.
how their feet work.
Right,
Like,
right.
what is that thing coming out of my butt? Right? They're just
That's a term.
I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it.
They
Yeah.
do that.
So
yeah.
6 months, they're starting to get some like structure in their brain to where they can listen and they can form long lasting memory.
Right.
That is not to say don't train your dog till 6 months, right? I just don't want to charge for it.
Mhm.
So puppy training is more for
The owner.
the puppy things,
Yeah.
whereas training is more for like the 60 more
6 months
vocabulary,
old,
all that
yeah.
good stuff. After that, dog goes home. I would say, you know what? Send them back at 12 months. Here's why. Dogs go into a teenage phase the same way we do, right? So 11 to 13 months, they are teenagers. What did you do as a teenager?
Stupid stuff.
Yes, you told your mom and dad no,
Right.
Yeah.
right? You started pushing
Yeah.
boundaries. You started testing everything to
Mhm.
see where those boundaries were. And so my biggest thing would be, again, if it's just, hey, I want to do it exactly how you would. Puppy training to get the little puppy things out, 6 months old to get the initial, and then the owner, the owner will continue it from there. And then at 11 to 13 months, come back and see me for a week just to get past
That's a
that teenage
reinforcer,
stage.
yeah.
Yep, just a reinforcer. Because, and you know what breed is the most important for this? I think important not being the right word, but like the one I recommend the most: golden retrievers.
Really.
If you get a golden retriever, you're gonna have 3 separate
I'm
dogs.
fixing to get one.
You're gonna have.
That's my
You're about to
next
get one.
dog.
Really?
Well, my wife grew up with golden retrievers. We have a lab right now, and she's already said, I want a golden retriever. I said, well, when this one goes, you can get another one. Yeah.
Just be warned. Love them. Not trying to dissuade you from getting it, but you're gonna have 3 completely separate dogs. You're gonna have a puppy.
Mhm.
You're gonna have the teenager, and then you're gonna have the dog. And the puppy is gonna be wild as can be.
Right.
Fun. 11 to 13 months, you're going to want to kick that dog out on the
Yeah.
streets.
Mhm.
Chewing on everything, barking at everything. Yeah.
Pushing every boundary. Like, dude, I just paid to have you trained. What are you doing?
Mhm.
They're nuts, right? Once they reach about 14 to 18 months old, depending on how they mature, everything starts to settle out. And then if you have done the work prior, you're going to have the best dog you've ever had.
Yeah.
Goldens are amazing,
Yeah.
but they're not easy either.
I didn't realize how much and how valuable crate training was until I got a dog that was
Massive.
crate trained.
Yeah.
Like it's
Massive.
unbelievable. Like all I do is get up and say crate, and they
Mhm.
literally go in there, no barking, no
Nothing.
arguing,
Nope.
nothing. They just go in there and they want to hang out in there. Is what's crazy.
And we talked about association earlier, right? Dogs associate people, places, things. They have an associative nature of how they learn, right? Think of like Ivan Pavlov and classical conditioning.
Mhm.
They heard the bell ring, so they know food's coming, so they salivate. If you can associate that kennel as their like safe place,
Right.
right? Bed in there, you're going to eat dinner in there. I'm going to toss treats in there all the time.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't they want to go in there?
That's right.
Dogs are den animals. They're used to that. And then once you positively associate it, then you can use it as a tool, just like you said, right? Hey, I got somebody coming over. Kennel, bud. Great.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just avoid so many behavioral issues because it's like having a kid in their room. Right. Your kid can go hang out in the room. They got their Xbox in there. They got all their toys. They're comfortable in there.
Yeah.
But they come out and start cussing at you and your wife.
Now we got
Hey,
a problem.
Yeah.
Go to your room.
Right.
Right. And you can use them for both things. And they're a terrific tool. And not to mention, it helps them kind of go from here to here.
Mhm.
Right. If I have
Yeah.
a dog that's catching the zoomies around my living room, I'm going to have you go hang out in the kennel until I see that you're calmed down.
Yeah.
Then you can come back out and hang out with me because I don't want you roaming around here like a
Crazy.
like a
crazy.
cracked out rabbit.
Yeah. I like what you said for sure. And you have to, they match your energy.
Yes.
So I know there's certain days I have 2 French bulldogs, if those
Love
are
Frenchies.
even real dogs. But I love both of them very much. 2 females. And I can, certain days when I can come home and I can immediately go to the kennel and get them out and play with them, I'll come in with a different energy. I'll start talking to them. What are y'all doing? What have you been doing all day? But if it's something I know, like for instance, maybe we got to come straight into here. If I get home from work, I got to come straight in here. I will literally open the door quietly. I will walk in. I change my whole demeanor.
Yeah.
I set my keys down. I try not to make them make too much noise. And they know the difference.
Yeah.
They look at me and they're like, probably in their mind, they're like, oh man, it's this mood. And they chill and they kind of just stay where they're at. I go do what I got to do. And I come back and I bring that excited energy and they know.
You are 100% correct. And anybody that's listening that hears that, you're doing it exactly right. And you can use that to your advantage. Right? Dogs 1000% pick up on our energy.
Mm-hmm.
Those dogs, your dogs, our dogs, they have nothing else in this entire world to do but to wait for us to go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they are complete experts at body language, right? Everything that if there's 3 dogs playing, they're watching each other's body language, and every tail wag matters. Whether it's wagging in a circle or wagging back and forth, the ears, if they're up, are they down, are they back, are they forward? All of these things matter. Guess what? We're the same way. We just don't pay attention to it.
Right.
But your dogs are. And so it's not only just like your excitedness, but like how fast are you walking to the door?
That's right. Yeah.
Right? Like, are you stomping? Do you have an angry face? They're picking up on all of this, every bit of it. Add in their olfactory sense, their nose. Their nose is so powerful that I don't think many people understand. They can literally smell fear. They can smell death. Right. So you bring your dogs to the vet. What happens? Most people, when they go to the vet, it's a nightmare. Think about what happens in a vet's office.
Yeah, they put the dogs down.
They put dogs down. There's surgery. There's knives. There's needles. Not only are they associating what they have been through, but they're also being bombarded through their nose with a whole bunch of stuff that they don't understand.
Yeah, they never smelled it.
They have no idea what that means. They just know that it's scary.
Yeah, something's up.
This ain't home. This is not home.
Yeah.
And so whether you're bringing your dog to a vet and seeing that, like, what is happening, or it, just like you said, walking into your home and seeing 2 different reactions, your dog is watching you nonstop. And another thing on top of that is dogs are learning constantly. Dogs are lifetime learners. Right? They don't slow down unless they're kind of just forced to by us, meaning that we ignore them. But as long as you are giving your dog some sort of activity, they are lifetime learners. But also keep in mind, there's a difference between learning and being taught. So if we're not teaching our dogs what we expect from them, they're learning what they can get away with. Right?
Well, similarities
That's a
with
big
children.
difference.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I can bark this many times before they come outside,
Yeah.
or I can. I got you.
Dogs, people may forget, they come from wolves. That's
Yes.
where they originally were in the wild, and we, domesticated them, bred them certain ways, and then you get all the way down to a Chihuahua or a Frenchie. But they used to be a wolf, and wolves are pack animals. They're extremely smart.
Right.
I don't know if I know personally. Like I've watched some documentaries on them. They would like flying drones over them while they hunt. I mean, the things that they
They're
can do, like you say, without barking, just by their body language, they know how to. They look like military units,
Yes.
right? They flank things.
do.
They cut them off. They know how to, like you said, which one's hurt, which one of these animals is the weakest. They figure all that stuff out. I saw a video one time of it wasn't a wild wolf, but it was like, what are they're still technically a wolf, but you can like pet them. I don't know what the terminology is there.
I think it's in Colorado, up in the Northwest.
They're domesticated, but they're still.
They have places where you can actually go and hang out with wolves.
Okay.
Domesticated wolves. Yeah.
That's what this was, but they were making an example. They showed it. I mean, you could pet this thing, but its body language was completely different, and they hid a piece of food under something, right? Well, this wolf, like he didn't acknowledge the human. He just started thinking, figuring out, sniffing, moving, doing things. They brought a regular domesticated dog out, and he could smell the food, but he kept doing this, like, are you going to get it for me? Are you going to tell me what to do? Completely different vibe.
Big time. And some of these, and that brings up another good point that I'm going to harp on, is the breed of dog. Like, let's talk about like Akitas, right? Or Siberian Huskies. If this is a clean line, those are some of the oldest breeds of dogs that are in existence today. And so that means is they're more related to like wolves, right? Hound mixes. Hounds are wild.
Yeah.
Right? They are feral. And Catahoulas, we talked about cattle. That's a hound breed. Basset hounds and what's the other one I'm thinking of? Beagles. Some of these dogs that we don't necessarily think of as being quote unquote bad. They are feral. They're wild because they have been bred in a certain way. And like the Akitas, the Huskies, they just think differently. Those are 2 of my favorite breeds to train, because their intelligence is just different, right? They just think differently than regular dogs, to your point, like wolves, because they're more related to those wolves because their genetic biology hasn't been
manipulated.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a pile of beagles, all hunt dogs. And dude, I swear they would chew through the daggum concrete.
They
are nuts,
Oh,
man.
It's like a Jack Russell.
Jack Russells are tough too.
Dude, if you're not ready for full blown energy, and they did, the one I had, he did not listen to anything I said. I'm sure that was my fault, but like he just was like, I have to do something. I have to be going. I have to hunt. I have to do something.
Jack Russells are what I call ratters.
Yes,
right? They were sent in tunnels to go get badgers and animals that are far bigger than them and tougher than them, and they love it.
Yeah. So he tunneled under my fence.
Oh my god!
Funny
Jack
you say
Russells
that.
are
little man
a
syndrome.
very tough breed.
Yeah. You better know what you're doing before you get one of those.
You keep bringing up the bloodline, and I don't want to put this in this situation, but there's a lot of people that don't get the bloodline. Maybe they go get a pound puppy or something like that. What's the difference between that and a full bloodline training wise?
So there's a couple things that play in, right? One, we talked a little bit about this earlier. If you get a dog from a shelter, which I highly encourage you, at least everyone to at least consider that we are almost at a pandemic level of dogs that are in these locations. Right. That being said, understand what you're getting, right? If I toss you in jail with no explanation whatsoever, and you sit there, you're going to have some complications psychologically, right? So I'm not saying that they are broken by any means, but there's an adjustment that needs to happen for that dog to be where it's at mentally to be able to fit into your home. Not that dog is bad or they do need to be trained, but they need to be trained because of the structure and the guidance and to bring order to that chaos that is their mind, right? That being said, more directly to your point, whether we get a AKC registered anything versus a mix, personally, I like the mixes.
Me too.
I really do. Genetically speaking, they're healthier, right? Because they're the
more diverse
biodiversity. And then you also get like doodles are a giant thing, obviously, right? Doodles are a mix of poodles and either golden retrievers or labradoodle, golden doodle, whatever it is. And now we're at a point now where we have golden doodles mixing with labradoodles and golden doodles mixing with bernedoodles, and like, oh my god,
the whole world's going crazy.
But what's interesting about that is, and they have these DNA tests now too, where you can go check. I think, and I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you hit on it, because I think the bloodline is important. Because one of the things I harp on all the time is, before you get a dog, do a real honest inventory of yourself and your lifestyle. Don't go out and get a Belgian Malinois because you want to exercise. It ain't gonna happen. Right? Don't go get a Beagle because you think they're cute, because you like their long ears, right? Do a little bit of research. Now, humane societies, not hitting on them, but they don't do a terrific job of honestly or accurately saying this is this dog and this is the age. They got a lot going on.
Well, from what I was told is, like, the pit bull was always bad. So they take a pit bull,
which is not historic.
That's our fault.
It used to be America's dog, though.
But you can tell that dog has got pit bull in them, and they'll label it lab mix.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Just so they don't get killed. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to kill it. And that's how it works, I guess.
And I would, that's kind of a tough one, right? Because you do, as I just said, you want to know what you're bringing into your home.
Right.
But at a certain point, if you're going to go to a shelter, you're not going to know for sure. What you can do, right? Say you want a Frenchie, right? What I would recommend you to do is to, one, look for Frenchie specific rescues. Or two, call your local humane societies all the way around here and just say, hey, my name's Joey. I'm looking for a Frenchie. I want him this old. I'm not in a hurry. Call me when you see one.
Right.
Because this person, if you find the right person, this person is seeing dog after dog after dog after dog. So if you get in their head and you get on their desk and they say, okay, I know if a Frenchie comes in here, I can get him out of here immediately. Right. When that dog comes in, they're going to be pumped to get that dog out of there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't think that breed comes through the shelters very often.
Yeah.
You would be shocked.
Really?
Not just necessarily Frenchies,
Mhm.
all of them, because
Really?
you have people that move or pass away or don't realize what they're getting. Right? Frenchies are tough dogs.
Well, they can be, yeah.
They can be. Yeah, they're a bully breed. So some people may get them. I think they were the top dog of 2025.
Yes, that's
right?
that's what my wife told me. Yeah,
Right,
outdid the Labrador, which I think was usually the number one. I think.
I think you're right.
Okay.
But some people may have seen that and be like, oh, that must be a great dog for me, which maybe it is. Maybe it just doesn't match your lifestyle.
Mhm.
And you'll see a lot of full blood, like all of them, Danes, Shepherds. I saw a Belgian Malinois not recently, Frenchies, all these things. So, and that's what I like. My sister's looking for a Frenchie right now. It's like, go call the shelter first. Like, if you don't find one, fine.
Mhm.
Then go spend $3,000.
Yeah.
But spend some time, make a connection with the shelter, and see if you can get one from there. Just because, one, you're going to be saving a life. Two, it'll save you $3,000.
Mhm.
Yeah. 100%. Is there a website, or do you have any kind of literature that says, I'm an older guy, girl, don't get out of the house much, this is probably the breed you need to stick with? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm young, energetic. This is probably the breed that you need to stick with. Is there anywhere around there?
Not really, but what our entire life is now almost governed by Google and AI, right? Go into Google,
Mhm.
do some research on breeds. There are books at PetSmart, or excuse me, Books A Million, all the bookstores, right? You can find books, you can find articles on dogs. You can ask AI, right?
Mhm.
There are a lot of different ways.
It does know.
It's just and the only reason I say that, there probably is literature out there.
Yeah, there's probably a website too. I would
There
say.
probably is. And AKC is a great place, right? AKC will tell you, like, oh, this is what to expect from a Rottweiler. This is what a French Bulldog is, right? And you can kind of get an idea of what that dog is based on what you have to offer. But there's so many breeds.
Right.
And there's so many different lifestyles that I have people call me all the time and ask that question, right? Well, I have this, and this. What dog should I get? That's not a question I can answer for you,
Mhm.
right? There are so many complexities involved in that answer that this is an answer that you need to come to. But doing just a little bit of research will help. And it doesn't guarantee success, right? Every French Bulldog is not the same.
Right.
Every lab is not the same. Just because you go get your favorite breed doesn't mean it's going to behave or perform the way that you think it's going to. And that's another question or statement I get all the time. I've raised labs my entire life. This lab ain't like them. Well, this lab ain't.
It's an individual.
Is not
Yeah.
He's a black sheep.
Yeah. There you
He
go.
ain't a lab.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because this is my next question. If I'm going to train a dog, yeah, they do that all the time. If I'm going to train a dog to hunt, that's usually 6 months down the line. Do you recommend your puppy training before the actual field hunting training?
That's a good question. I've never done hunting, really.
Right.
It just wasn't me. Fished a whole lot, but never really got in hunting, and in dog training I've never really worked that angle either. So honestly, I don't know. There is such thing called drive expression, right? So when we talk about working dogs, we want to increase their drive expression, whether it's a drive to bite, a drive to hunt, a drive to protect, right? And so if you are duck hunting, right? For example, I don't think obedience that I'm offering would hinder the drive expression to go out and fetch a duck and bring it back. I think it would help it.
Right.
Now, a dog that you're going to want to work for personal protection to bite, maybe my program isn't the best, because I am going to limit that drive expression or reduce that drive expression a little bit, because I want you to listen. Your job is not to protect me. Your job is to listen to me. Right. So it depends, I think, specifically to my program. And I'm not talking about all training programs, but specifically to my training program, I think it really depends on, do you want your dog to be obedient, or do you want to increase their drive expression?
There you go. That's a good. I've never heard it put that way. Drive expression. I was like, what are they predisposed to doing? But yeah, that's.
And what do you want them to do? What do you want their job to be?
Right.
And if you don't understand what you want your dog's job to be, you're a little wrong, right?
That's a disservice to them.
Right. Your dog should have a job. Right. Think about what dogs have done for us throughout our existence, throughout our 25,000 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
they are man's best friend because they are valuable to us,
Right.
because they offer a service or a job. And so that if you can give your dog a job in the household, you're never going to have to pay somebody like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're going to focus on that task. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they're going to nail it.
Yeah. Let's talk about just like focusing on something very specific. You mentioned it earlier, walking on the leash, right? That's a pretty typical thing a dog needs to do, but it can be very chaotic. I've never been to a lot of dog parks. It's never that didn't even exist when we were growing up. I don't think, not around here. They're all over the place now. But like, you see videos, you see people. I've been around people that it's their dog, and I just kind of watch, and I'm like, you don't know what you're doing, or that dog's in control, not you, right? Yeah. Can you break it down for somebody? What does it take to get a dog from chaos on the leash to like following beside you the way they should?
Yep. Patience. One word.
That's a great answer.
We're done. Next question.
Exactly. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
So one of the things that I think almost everyone does wrong, right, is they just expect dogs to understand this relationship. They skip the teaching phase and go straight into training. You can't train a dog anything if you haven't taught them first.
Right.
And so when a dog comes into my house, right, I have a dog for 3 weeks. The first 5 to 6 days, we're not even leaving my front yard because they don't understand the rules to what I'm asking of them. And so I want to teach them those rules in an environment that they're comfortable in, right? I'm going to put the leash on them and we're going to walk around my living room. We're going to put the leash on and we're going to walk around the backyard, right? And I'm going to teach them, oh, you pulled on the leash? We don't do that. Come here, sit down. Good job. Okay, now we can go again, right? Because those are my rules. And so to break it down, what I would do is I would sit and be like, okay, what do I want my dog to do? What do I not want my dog to do? Why am I taking this walk in the first place, right? And then teach them how to get to that end goal, right? In the military, we always talk about backwards planning. My end goal is I want my dog to walk next to me on leash patiently, calmly, and quietly and listen to me. Okay, that's your end goal. Your 5 months old puppy doesn't need to be at that end goal because it's an end goal.
Right.
Work towards there. Teach, train, and then proof or perfect, right? So easiest answer, focus on the teaching phase first. Teach your dog what you expect of them. And then in the teaching phase, how do you do that? You reward the behavior that you like. You get what you pet, right? Or reward. And then you correct the behavior that you don't like. Meaning, hey, I don't like that. Do this instead. All right. And then you reward that behavior.
And that's treats. Is that what you reward them with? Or is there something else we need to be rewarding them with?
So, and that brings up a really good point. Know your dog. Does your dog like treats? Does your dog prefer touch? Does your dog prefer freedom? Right?
Mine loves food.
Some dogs in training with food is super easy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did something great. Here you go.
Right.
What I like to use is freedom. Dogs really, really like having their freedom, right? They're autonomous creatures. They deserve to be able to go out and do their own thing. And so I teach them first with treats and then move to not treats to freedom. You get the ability to go out and explore and enjoy all of this stuff, but you have to do it by the rules. And so if you teach them what your expectations are before expecting them to really know it, that's going to be the first step in really helping them understand what it is that is expected of them on leash. Because if you take a dog out and you were just like, hey, I just got this dog last week, let's go to the dog park, I'm going to go walk around. That dog's going to be in stimulus overload.
Yeah.
Right? Just not only are there all these sounds and sights over there, but imagine what they're smelling. And so think about if you brought your 6-year-old kid to Disney World. I tell this to people all the time, right? Imagine bringing your kid into Disney World at 6, 7 years old, and they're just over the freaking moon excited, right? Just pumped about seeing Mickey. You walk in the gates and there he is. There's Mickey, there's Minnie, there's Goofy, there's a whole cast, and he's about to pee himself. He's so excited, right? That's where your dog is. When you go outside and they're excited, that's where your dog is mentally. That's chaos, right? Now, imagine telling that 7-year-old kid, all right, buddy, you ready to go play with Mickey?
Yep.
Yeah? All right, sit down and do this homework, and then we're going to go.
Right.
No,
he's already
you
in
think that's
Mickey
getting
mode.
done?
Yeah, he's in Mickey mode. Yeah.
That ain't getting done. So that's one of the bigger problems we have is we have these dogs that are experiencing a world that we're just not paying attention to. Right? Their dog is down there just, what is that? 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 While we're sitting here saying, hey, sit, buddy. They're not paying attention to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to what I said immediately, patience, right? take them outside of that front door and just stand there. Let them soak it in. Let them take it all in, right? Because if I do that for 12 days, if I go outside my house for 12 days and I just stand there, how bored is that dog going to be on day 13?
Right. He's already seen it, smelled it. Yeah.
Give me something to do.
Give me something to do.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. And so when we get into that, give me something to do, we go from the mindset of, oh my God, this is amazing. What is happening? What is all this stuff? What is all this stuff? To, what are we doing here? Right?
Yeah.
We go from a chaotic mindset to a problem-solving mindset. And think about how dogs met us in the first place. They were stealing bones off our trash piles, right? They're scavengers. Scavenging is synonymous with problem solving. So by that line of thinking, dogs are naturally problem solvers. So if we can take them from a mindset of chaos or excitement or anxiety to problem solving, you can't be a problem solver and anxious at the same time. You just can't, right? You can't, your brain doesn't work that way. And so if we can get them into the problem solving mindset, it's like, hey, what are we doing here? Then who are they going to look to?
Yeah.
Me.
The alpha.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they look to me, that's where I come alive and start to give them guidance and structure.
Oh, now we're back. Let's go do
we're
something.
back. Yeah. Oh, you're with me? Okay, come here.
Yeah,
Yay. Good job, buddy. Here's some treats. Now sit for me. Okay, now let's go explore.
Yeah.
Okay. From there, one of my rules is, right, we talked about setting your boundaries, setting your rules, and then enforcing them. One of my rules is you don't pull on the leash.
Yes.
You don't pull on the leash and you don't react to anything, right? You don't bark, you don't scratch, you don't pull on the leash, all that stuff. So if I take off and they pull on the leash, done. My feet stop completely. So, and we're talking about the first couple of days of training here, right? Like not a 6-year-old dog that you've been with for months, or for years. But when we're in this teaching phase, they pull on the leash. All right, you must be too excited. Take it all in, right? Take it all in. When you're done, same thing. When you look at me, I'm going to bring you back, sit, focus, and then we're just going to do that over and over and over and over.
So when you stop, you're holding the leash still. The dog's on the leash. You let him just kind of do whatever it is he's doing, sniff, smell.
Yes.
Because some of them will keep pulling. They'll keep looking. They'll keep, what is that over there? And you just stay in there, stay calm.
Because what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to, hey, there's a trash can over there. I want that. I need that. And like, I know from
there's a pork chop in there.
I know from my past experience that if I just keep pulling, mom and dad are going to let me get there.
Correct.
Not Chris.
Yeah.
Right. The only way that you will get to that trash can is by doing it the way that I ask you to do it. The only way that Monopoly will be fun is if we play by the rules. And these are the rules. And so the way I like doing it, and it's painstaking because it takes time, it's called free shaping, right? There's force-free training, there's compulsion training, balance training, free shaping. Free shaping, to me, the way I free shape is I'm going to step outside that front door and I'm just going to let them figure it out. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to tell them anything. I'm just going to reward them when they do it right. And about the third to, depending on the dog, third to 33rd time they do it correctly, they're going to start putting these pieces together and be like, oh, every time I do this one thing, come back to Chris, sit and look at him, I get what it was that I was wanting in the first place. So maybe I just do that, right? And then I just reinforce it over and over and over and over again and teach them that, hey, this is how you get what you want. Right. So this creature, dogs are very selfish, right? They are very selfish. They want what they want when they want it all the time. So by doing that, by giving them a structure, I'm teaching them how to get how it is to get what they want. Now, the other side of that, sitting there and just letting them yank and pull and pull and pull, they're figuring out that it just doesn't work. Right. Hey, you want to sit here and just sit at the end of leash and be uncomfortable? Okay.
We'll do this all day long.
That's okay. I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna yell at you. Just sit there and be uncomfortable. That's fine. When you're done with that, I'm here. Right. And it's a really, again, painstaking, patient process.
That takes time.
I couldn't do that. I know, because I don't have your patience. I know for a fact that I couldn't do that just because I guess I would think that the dog would learn if I showed him, hey, sit down, do it. You know, like a lot of people do.
Force.
Sit down.
I'm the alpha. You're going to listen right now.
Right. And most people do that. And what's happening when you do that, right? Your dog is focusing on this and all of a sudden they're like, wait, what the hell, man? Push me down. What's happening? Right. They're not learning. Right. So giving them an opportunity to have a little bit of a choice. Like, we don't have to move forward. I don't need to go walk. And if I need to go walk, you're going to be inside and I'll go walk. Right. This is for you.
Right.
So when you're ready to move forward, I'm going to show you how to do that.
Once they learn that kind of stuff too, like going back to like the leash, right? When you put it on the dog for the first time, they're usually like, what is this? They don't like it, a collar, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you do that for the first time when you're 10 minutes late to where you're supposed to be, and it's the first, I just got the dog, we got to put him, let's go, put him on the leash, let's go. And then you're like, why are they not
dragging him
why
out
are
of
they
the
not paying
house?
attention? It's
Yeah.
like, well, this dog doesn't know what we're doing. It's not going to work. And now you've created this anxiety, this high level stress level thing. It'll never work like that. But once they associate the leash with the walking, and you've mastered the walking as well,
They know.
they'll jump into the leash to get that thing on because they know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And just like we talked about with the kennel,
Same, yeah, exactly. Same as the kennel.
Yeah, your dog should be pumped when they see that leash.
That's right.
Absolutely. And then we talk about teaching, training, and improving. Teach in a very calm, quiet area where they can, there's not a whole lot of extra stimuli to distract them. And then once they start to get it, then you start to kind of test them a little bit. Right. We're going to go from the front yard to my block or to my neighborhood. We're going to walk past different houses that
More
are putting off different
distractions.
smells.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
If it's trash day, think of the smells these dogs are experiencing. Right. We're going to walk past houses that have dogs. We're going to walk past cats and squirrels. Here's the key. We spent all this time in the teaching phase learning what the rules are. Just because there's a dog over there, that doesn't mean the rules go away. Everything's the same.
Is it going to be the same thing for you? Just say, for instance, you got one that's learned the leash pretty good, and this is the first time they see a dog, another dog or whatever, they want to run after the squirrel, whatever. Do you just stand there? Same thing?
Everything is the same.
Okay.
Right. Everything is the same. And this is tough for I'll say regular people, non-trainers. Right. It's embarrassing to sit there with your dog going nuts.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to sit there with their dog acting like a maniac.
And what's crazy is most of them bring them into PetSmart and let them do it in the middle of the store, and they're just tearing everything up. You know what I'm saying?
But if you're sitting there and your dog's acting like a maniac, most people get embarrassed, right? So what do? Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go. And so your dog learns that, one, what are we putting off? Oh, I'm nervous. I'm anxious. Your dog's feeling that. It's traveling down leash. They're also learning, bark, move. That's exciting. So you're forming an emotional attachment to this response is forming an emotional attachment to, I saw a dog. I got hyped. Mom or dad got hyped. So I must have done something correct.
Yeah.
Whereas if in this transition from teaching to training, we run into a dog or cat or squirrel or whatever it is, right? And we're just like, hey, look, nothing has changed, right? I don't care that there's a dog over there. And what I'm referring to is like my mentality, my energy, my presence is, I don't care that there's a dog there. I ask you to come here and sit. If you're not, just like before, okay.
We're just going to chill out till you figure it out.
Stand there and bark for all I care, right? Now, with that, when we get from the teaching to the training, I'm a balance trainer. So there may be some physical corrections. What is a physical correction? It's a way to communicate, please stop that. It's not a way to hurt. It's not a way to harm. It's not a way to punish.
Right.
But it is a way to get their attention and say, hey, I don't like that. Please stop that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit there and just,
beat the dog. Yeah.
Because it's not productive, right? So if I have a reactive dog and they're sitting there going nuts at the neighborhood dog, I'm going to let them sit there and get it out until they're just done. Because they're going to wear themselves out, and then what's going to happen?
Yeah, they're submissive.
They're going to do the exact same thing. Yeah. Now what?
What are we doing now?
Now what? That dog's not giving me any sense of enjoyment. They're not giving me any. I know they're not anything bad or worth my time. So now what are we doing? And what are they going to do? They're going to turn back and look at me. And the same thing. Come here, sit, focus. Yay! Here's all your treats. I love you. Let's go. Now, right there, what happens? They're going to get excited. They're going to go right back to that dog. All right. So another opportunity to start over.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, patience.
I can remember back watching the Cesar Millan show. He would have us like a short leash. He wouldn't at first allow them the long leash. And then he would always try to keep them moving forward, especially around other stimuli like dogs. And then if they tried to veer, moving forward, if they turned and tried to go towards the dog, he would give them a nice, it was like a quick snap.
Yes.
To just kind of snap them back to the way they needed to be facing and try to keep moving forward.
Yes.
To not stop. Now, it's probably two different techniques, but.
Those are two different techniques. And some dogs I do that with, right? Some dogs that are actually reactive, I will use a more engaging form of communication with the leash, just like you described. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It doesn't look terrific, right? But it's fantastic, and it communicates to the dog in the way the dog understands. Personally, I like the free shaping of just, oh, you want to sit there and bark? Then bark. Fine. I'm going to wait it out. And then when you're done, I'm going to show you that there's a better way to do that. Not all trainers do that. And I understand why, right? I completely get it. And they are not wrong. Caesar, I'm not going to tell Caesar he's wrong about anything. I like the idea of just introducing dogs to their world in a way that makes sense to them. Right. And to me, that means just look, if you want to sit there and be angry at that dog for a couple of minutes, fine. Sit there and take it in, because nothing is ever going to happen. And guess what? I'm going to be back here tomorrow. And we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to back here the next day. And we're going to do the same thing. And eventually, yes, you are correct. I think physical corrections have a meaningful part in training, as long as they are corrected in a way that's communicative and fair. Right. Because think about how puppies, your Frenchies, before they came to you, if they were being jerks, what was their mom going to do? Grab them. Snap, They were going to she would grab them by their throat, by their scruff, or by their snout. And she would shake them and then let them go. Right. Dogs communicate physically. And so a physical correction, again, as long as it's not aimed at hurting or punishing, a physical correction is a really great way to communicate. So,
and just like you said, it's not a hit. It's not necessarily hitting. Right. You don't, and you don't ever want to make them associate your hand with punishment, right?
Hands are not for hurting. Hands are for helping.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because they don't know, is he about to pet me? Is he about to hit me? Right?
Yeah.
That's
you get the cowering, and that ain't cool.
Yeah. And I think some dogs do that kind of just naturally.
Some dogs are naturally fearful.
Yeah. Their personality.
Yep. And actually, now that we're on that little topic right there of fear, that's something I would like to talk about real quick. Because so many of us don't necessarily pay attention to what our dogs are telling us. Either we don't know, or we're not paying attention. We're walking around looking at our phone while our dog's doing our thing, right? Yeah. More dogs are living in fear than I think most people know, right? And when I say fear, I mean fear of the unknown, fear of just generalized quote unquote anxiety.
Especially if you're not the leader at the moment.
Exactly.
Like you said on the phone, they're like, well, he's not paying attention. What is all this stuff? What is all this stuff? But if you're in control and they can look to you and they're like, oh no, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
They will calm down.
And one of the things I hear most, especially from women, is like, well, I don't want to punish him. I don't want to correct him. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to do this. Your dog needs that.
Got to.
Right. Your dog needs
it's like a kid.
Yes. Your dog needs guidance. They need structure. They need a leader that's going to tell them, hey, don't do that. Right. And if not, so basically
chaos, right? Like
it's
you talked
chaos,
about earlier.
absolutely. Yeah. And so when you are a leader for your dog, you're not telling them, hey, I'm the leader and you're the follower and you're going to listen. No, you're telling them, hey, buddy, I got you. You don't have to worry about security. You don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about safety or where you're going to rest tonight. I got all of that. All you got to do is listen to me and pay attention. That's it. And the mental health of the dog skyrockets.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just noticed your sleeve, right? Explain that, because it looks like you got a pile of dogs on your arm, man.
So I started this, I don't know, a year or two ago. I got to thank my daughter, my daughter that's in college. She brought me this design. I've been looking for dog designs for a long time, and she's still mad at me because I stole the idea. So from my elbow down, these are my personal dogs, military dogs, Kitty and Copy, that I deployed with. Other personal dogs that I've had throughout my life, including the poodle.
That's cool.
That taught me a whole lot. Above the elbow are the training dogs that I have had that have not necessarily my favorites, but the ones that have really, really like taught me something.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and for people listening, it's the outline of the dog's ears and head facing away, because there's no snout on the tattoo.
Facing forward, but without the snout.
Without the snout. Okay. I kind of took it as it was from.
Yep.
That's cool.
But I've got I think about 25 more that are going to go on the chest. But yeah, all the dogs that I've had that have really, really, really pushed me down this path in a good way. Like I said, September 1st will be my 4-year mark, and my program changes constantly. Yeah, because I am a lifetime learner, right?
Mhm.
And every dog that comes in teaches me something different. I just started. I took like 3 weeks off in December, and started back. And I've got 3 little teeny tiny dogs in my house, and they're like tiny dogs are different, right there. I have 2 baby schnauzers and like a Chihuahua mix, and you have to be gentle with these dogs. Physically, they can't take a correction, right?
Yeah,
They're
right.
Yeah,
small.
you break the whole.
And they're all
Yeah.
females, so they're
Yeah.
all like super sweet, and like I can't raise my voice at them, and that go not that it
It's tough,
goes
yeah.
against what I how I
Right.
train, but it's like I gotta catch myself.
But
sometimes.
that will work. The raising the voice. I do that with I have a puppy still, and I have to just be like, no, I have to change my voice, and she's like, oh, that's different.
It's a tone.
Yeah, it's a tone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, and it does
Use your
work.
dad voice. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Y'all should come to 4th Block with me and deal with 31 high school girls.
No.
It's the
No,
same
no.
exact thing.
No.
I'll raise my voice and 20 of them start crying. The others of them start yelling. Yeah, it's the same reaction.
Yeah.
Absolutely same reaction.
So, what's your cap on dogs at one time to train? Is you have a number?
For me personally, I try to stay right at 3. 3 is my happy number.
Okay.
I'll take 4 depending on the situation.
And are your personal dogs there at the time too? So
kind
3
of
plus what you have?
I have 4 personal dogs, but I also have 2 locations. I usually keep my personal dogs in Louisiana, and I keep my house relatively empty. I'll use, depending on the dogs that I have, I will bring one of my personal dogs over and like they're helper dogs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
They already know the rules.
they know the rules, and dogs get jealous, right? So if I'm looking at 2 dogs, I'm like, hey, sit. And one of them sits. And I'm like, good job.
Yeah.
Keep eating
Like,
treats.
hey, what about me?
right? Yeah.
Keep
Where's
eating
mine?
treats.
I like him.
This guy's going to want to sit eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
He has to.
Mhm.
So you run the operation out of your house.
Yep.
We've mentioned that. 4 years in.
4 years in, it's I'm learning every month, every dog.
Yeah.
And they live in the living room they live in the living room. I don't live in my living room, but like they stay in their kennels, but they stay in my living room. And and we just kind of hang out and have summer camp together
That's
while
awesome.
learning. It's freaking cool.
That's
Yeah.
killer. And who
I could have
learns?
been sitting in an office like working law.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
suck.
Who learns more, you or the dogs?
I think it's a fair
trade.
trade. I think
Depends
it's
on
a
the dog.
very fair
Yeah.
trade. I think
Yeah.
it depends on the dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, we have to mention it before we wrap up. The podcast.
Yeah,
You have your own
Yeah.
couple podcasts. The Canine podcast.
So I also have a nonprofit. The Adoptable Dog. We talked a little bit about earlier about some of the stresses that dogs have when they come out of humane societies. It is an adjustment. And so we started the Adoptable Dog a couple years ago, and it's been really tough to get off the ground just because we have so much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But the Adoptable Dog is aimed at helping these dogs adjust to a home life after living in situations that makes it tough to live in a home life. Right. So the Adoptable Dog is really amazing, and we're trying to get that back up and running. But to your point, the podcast, Whiskey and Wolves.
There we go.
A fellow dog trainer in the area, Evan Stewart. I think we mentioned him earlier. Owns KProK9. Really fantastic guy. Really fantastic family. They are in Pearl River, and then have trainers from Florida, I think, to Texas. They've got trainers all over the place. And so, even though we are technically competitors, we have a really great friendship and a really great working relationship. So we kind of got together a few years ago and we're like, hey, what can we do? Right.
Yeah.
Like we have all of this, like we both have so many similar ideals with what we want to accomplish and what we want to be able to give dogs and dog owners on the coast. What can we do?
Right.
And so we came up with the podcast idea of Whiskey and Wolves. And so we get together basically as often as we can. His wife Heather produces and
Ain't no way. No way.
My wife's name's Heather.
No way.
Is it really?
Yes. Yes.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
That's
Ain't
funny.
no way, yeah.
That's good stuff. So Heather Stewart produces, and me and Evan get together and we sit there and we drink a different bottle of whiskey, not the whole bottle, but most of it. We drink a bottle.
Sometimes
of whiskey.
it happens though.
Sometimes it happens, and we just talk about dogs. We have different topics every day, and we just start talking dogs. And so I haven't said this very often, or talk about why this is so important to me. I mentioned the name Ted Carlson earlier, right? The guy that passed away and left the dog training business and wife his kids. And me and Ted were very close when I was in the Air Force. Ted was my trainer when I was a handler. When he left, I took his position as trainer. Ted was the only person I've ever, like, we would I drank a lot in the military.
Yeah.
I drank a lot.
Yeah.
We drank a whole lot. And so we would start drinking, and Ted and I were always the last ones awake. Always. And we would sit there till 5 o'clock in the morning, just talking dogs. Right. And then we would wake up at 7 o'clock and go to PT. And we did this 3 times a week.
Right.
And so Ted, I to this day, thinking back, I don't think Ted was ever wrong about dogs. And it still to this day pisses me off. Right? And so we would have, we would just sit there and we would talk dogs for hours and hours and hours and drink. And so this is so reminiscent of that. Right.
Right.
Something a little more special in between that and now, when Ted passed, right? When Ted passed and left the dog training business, there wasn't anybody there, right? There, like his wife was there, and they had some kennel techs that were cleaning, but there wasn't anything to like, here's how you do this job.
Yeah.
I had to teach myself how to do this job. And so my dog, Sydney Michael, who actually was left there by Ted, right? Another part of the story. Sydney started coming home with me when I was working at the daycare. And he would come home with me, and I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. I can't let this guy down, right? I can't let his family down. I got to figure this out. So me and Sydney would come home from work at the doggy daycare every day, and we would go on walks. Again, this is when I was freshly divorced, right? And so I'm figuring out my life, like what the hell is happening? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I got a law degree, and I don't want to practice law. I'm single for the first time in 15 years. Like, what is happening? And so me and Sydney started going out on, I hope I don't cry. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Me and Sydney would go out on walks every single day, and he taught me how to be a dog trainer, right? He really, really did. The military taught me a lot. Training military dogs is not like training pets. It just isn't. It isn't. So Sydney Michael taught me how to train dogs.
Sweet.
I would go out every day, and Sydney and I would walk, and I'd be thinking about like the day, right? Like thinking about like these challenging dogs, like how do I get this dog to down? Like it doesn't down. It doesn't want to go in place. It's not doing this. It's not doing this. And like just thinking about my day, and would be out there walking, and all of a sudden I would just have and it happened hundreds of times, right? I would just have this just epiphany.
Eureka. Yeah.
Try this. And I'm like, duh. Yes. Yeah, of course this is it. And I would go in the next day, and of course it would work beautifully. Right. I started calling them my TED Talks.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that.
It felt like Ted was literally helping me become
Transmitting information to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful. And so these podcasts are so reminiscent of that. And so, like, to me, it is a continuation of my TED Talks that I was having in Valdosta, Georgia, in my garage at 5 o'clock in the morning. And the conversations that Ted was having with me through Sydney when I was in Covington and figuring out my life. And now this is the result of what I get to do.
Now you're just doing it with your buddy. Just keep it going.
Yeah. So not only is the audience getting something out of it, value, you're cathartic as well.
It is my favorite thing in the entire world to do.
Yeah.
It is absolutely I love training dogs. I love being with my daughters. I love my girlfriend, all that stuff.
Yep.
That is my favorite thing to do in the entire world.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Is it live? How do y'all do? Y'all pre-record it?
I don't know. I show up, I drink, I talk.
You heard it. He has a producer.
Well, what I was getting at is like, is there live questions coming in, or is there topics that y'all cover?
I don't think it's live. Every day
Okay.
we get together. We kind of like y'all. We get together and we're like, all right, let's pour a whiskey and let's talk.
Right,
what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah.
And like Evan's an expert, right? He's an expert, as am I. And so we basically just like, all right, well, what do you want to talk about today?
Okay.
And that's kind of how we gauge our topic for the day. And we've had a full season, I think, of 13 or 14 episodes, and then we're about 3 or 4 in on our second season. And
a lot of people don't realize how big of a pain in the butt that is.
Yeah, it is exactly. I'm sharing.
How much work it is.
It's a lot of work, but
yeah.
look, I got the best case scenario. It's on their property, kind of like y'all have your setup here, right? It's on their property. It's a beautiful like location, separate from the house, and like we have just all the things.
Yeah.
I'm showing the pictures of it right now to the live.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris shows up, drinks, talks, takes off. It's amazing. Evan and Heather are really carrying that. They also have a brother that does a whole lot of work for it, but it's a whole lot of fun. And we really, really dig deep into dog psychology and what your dog really needs from you and what your dog is really telling you.
Yeah.
And what do you really do need to know about your dog that most people, once they hear it, it's like, well, yeah, duh.
Right.
That makes sense.
Duh, of course
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. Most things in life that are correct or that are high level, it's really like breaking it down to the fundamentals, right?
Exactly.
Like, and you're like, yeah, it is simple. The reason you couldn't do it is because you made it complicated.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And you're exactly right. Dogs are very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We aren't.
No. You brought up whiskey. You brought something tonight, man. Tell us about that.
Irish Channel. This is one of my favorite whiskeys. And thank you. So this is actually a New Orleans whiskey, 7-3 distillery. I think they're out of New Orleans. And what's cool about them, so there are 73 neighborhoods in New Orleans.
Really?
And each one of their whiskeys or spirits, because they have vodka and gin and everything too, they're named after different neighborhoods. So this one is the Irish Channel. It's a lighter whiskey. It's small batch. It's super fine and really, really tasty. It's one of my favorite ones. But I'm a big fan of the 7-3 distillery. Their actual location is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
They do a whole lot for outside the area. They go and put on, like I saw them in Madisonville. They came and did like a whiskey tasting night, and Luca, their distiller, came out there and just spit a whole ton of whiskey knowledge. Really nerded out on whiskey. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, 7-3 distillery is amazing, and I drink them all the time. We drink them on our show, and trying to convince them to be a sponsor for us.
Yeah, really. I think that's great, man, to combine like the whiskey stuff with dogs. Like that's super cool.
And I mean, sponsor, just send me some free whiskey.
That's how we are. We're like, hey, just send us a couple bottles.
We don't even need money, man.
Sponsorship.
Just offset that cost for us, and we'll be fine. I did look it up. You are on Spotify on Whiskey and Wolves, so people can listen to the audio version of it. I dropped the Facebook link to both the Whiskey and Wolves podcast and then also to Canine Coaching with Chris. So they're both there, and they'll be linked in the descriptions on everything, the podcast as well. So, dude, what a story, man. I love to talk to people that are passionate about what they're doing. Like I said, you're not the first attorney that's came in here and decided that wasn't what their calling was and went a different route. And so, if it inspires somebody out there, follow what you're passionate about and do what makes you happy in whatever shape or form. Maybe you don't quit your job. Maybe you do like Joey and I, and you sit here in the evening after you get off work and do
you double dip
that you enjoy. So just make it happen, because life's short, man, and you got to enjoy what you're doing.
So. And we're going to get with your buddy on here too, and then maybe do another one in the podcast. Or maybe we'll come on your show and drink your whiskey.
There we go.
I'm never going to say no to an opportunity to talk dogs and drink whiskey.
There you go. Yeah. So you need to set that up, and we'll make that happen. We'll get someone to coordinate the dates, bring him in here, and we'll chop it up. Who doesn't love dogs? If you don't like dogs, I don't trust you.
Dags.
And if dogs don't like you, then I really
don't.
That's a big red flag for me. So, but thanks again, brother, for stopping by. Thanks everybody watching on the lives, the replays, the streams. You know what I'm going to say. If you haven't downloaded the Brown Water Banter app, go do it. Cut the algorithm out. All of our content is inside of there. You can see all of our, listen to all of our shows, watch the YouTube videos in there. Our merch is all in there, everything. So we appreciate y'all tuning in, because if y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later.
Thanks.